For years, the Rebels Motorcycle Club ruled the streets of Australia with an iron fist. Known for their dominance, power, and ruthless reputation, they were the biker gang everyone feared. But as with all empires, even the mightiest ones can crumble. The story of the Rebels' fall is one of betrayal, murder, and shocking internal conflicts that shook the criminal underworld. So, how did the once unstoppable Rebels Motorcycle Club find itself on the brink of destruction? Let's dive in. Carl Le Brook. The rise and fall of a rebel. When you talk about the Rebels' downfall, the name Carl Le Brook is unavoidable. Le Brook wasn't just a member of the club, he was a key player. A fixture in the criminal world, Le Brook had been involved in everything from violent crimes to drug dealing and even financial scams. His criminal portfolio was as long as it was terrifying, and he'd spent more time behind bars than most bikers ever dreamed of. Yet, despite his run-ins with the law, he stayed deeply connected to the rebels, thriving in the chaos and danger that surrounded the outlaw lifestyle. Le Brook's reign within the rebels was not one of fear, but of respect. He was trusted by the higher-ups, respected by the rank and file, and feared by anyone who dared to cross him. But in 2022, everything changed. The man who had once seemed untouchable found himself caught in a web of scandal, starting with a seemingly innocuous arrest. A betrayal that shook the club. When you think of a biker gang, you think of tight loyalty. You think of a brotherhood where no one talks. But when the pressure is on, all that loyalty goes out the window, and that's exactly what happened with Le Brook. Instead of facing the music alone, he gave police everything they needed to bring down the rebels. This wasn't just a betrayal of his fellow bikers. It was an open admission of the club's darkest secrets. Le Brook didn't just talk about small-time crimes. He exposed massive criminal operations. Smuggling, money laundering, drug trafficking, it was all on the table. For a gang like the Rebels, known for their ruthless rule over Australian streets, this was a scandal of epic proportions. The shockwaves from his cooperation didn't just affect Le Brook's immediate circle, it rattled the entire club. Trust, the one thing that had held the rebels together for years, was shattered. The foundation of their empire was now cracked, and it wasn't long before the full impact of Le Brook's testimony hit them. Nick Martin, the rebel leader. With a secret? One of the most shocking revelations Le Brook made was about Nick Martin, the former president of the rebels. Martin had long been a towering figure within the club, respected, feared, and seen by many as the embodiment of the rebel spirit. But according to Le Brook, Martin wasn't the loyal, honorable leader everyone believed him to be. Le Brook accused Martin of stealing club funds for personal use. That's right, the president was allegedly pocketing money that was meant for the club. Now, imagine the impact of these claims. Nick Martin wasn't just any member, he was the face of the rebels, the man who led them with an iron fist. To think that he might have been skimming money off the top while preaching loyalty and brotherhood to his members was a hard pill to swallow. Le Brook's accusations were more than just a blow to Martin's reputation. They cut to the heart of the club's values. But the plot thickens. Martin had already been murdered in 2020 in a public hit that shocked the club. His death had left the rebels in disarray, and now, with Le Brook's explosive accusations, the questions around Martin's true character were growing louder. Was he the loyal leader who fought for his brothers? Or was he just another corrupt figure using the club for his personal gain? The fallout. A club in crisis. The fallout from Le Brook's decision to cooperate with the police was swift and brutal. The rebels, a once feared biker gang, were now under intense scrutiny. Members who had once pledged their loyalty were now questioning each other's motives. Was Le Brook the only one willing to betray the club? Or were there more rats in the ranks? For the rebels, the damage was done. Le Brook's betrayal exposed cracks in their foundation that couldn't be ignored. Law enforcement now had a detailed roadmap of the club's criminal activities, and the public began to see the rebels for what they truly were: an empire built on betrayal, greed, and violence. As for Le Brook, he might have saved himself from a long prison sentence, but he didn't save the rebels. His cooperation with the police sealed the club's fate, setting the stage for its eventual collapse. For a gang that had built its reputation on loyalty and fear, Le Brook's actions served as a devastating reminder of how quickly things can fall apart when trust is broken. A mass exodus. The rebels lose control. But things didn't stop there. The tension between Le Brook and Damon 5 boiled over in an explosive way. In an unprecedented move that would send shockwaves through the rebels' ranks, Le Brook officially quit the club. But his departure wasn't just a personal decision. It sparked an exodus that rocked the club to its core. 37 members of the rebels' Western Australian chapter followed Le Brook out the door, abandoning the club in one of the biggest defections in the rebels' history. This wasn't just a minor shift, it was a seismic event. The Western Australian chapter wasn't a small faction within the rebels. It was a major part of their operations and influence in the region. With the mass resignation of these 37 members, the rebels suffered a significant blow to their power and influence in Australia's criminal underworld. It was a fracture that the club could never fully recover from, and the loss of such a large faction left the rebels vulnerable to further attack from rival gangs and law enforcement. For the rebels, losing a chunk of their membership like that was more than just a tactical loss. It was a blow to their very identity. The ripple effect was immediate. Rival gangs, smelling blood in the water, moved in to take advantage of the rebels' weakened state. Law enforcement, meanwhile, was more determined than ever to take down a criminal organization that was now visibly falling apart from within. The end of an era. The Rebels Motorcycle Club's shocking fall. The Rebels Motorcycle Club was once the undisputed kingpin of Australia's outlaw biker world, feared, respected, and untouchable. But today, it's a shadow of its former self, battered by internal conflict, external threats, and a series of betrayals that have left the club on the brink of collapse. What happened? How did this once feared empire crumble?